Faced with such charms, our four libertines were in ecstasy for a moment, but they only had strength to admire what stood before them, for the empire of beauty commands respect, even in the most wicked and profligate of men, who cannot violate it without experiencing remorse. Nevertheless, monsters such as those with whom we had to deal languish little under such restraints. "Come along, mademoiselle," said the superior. "Come along and let us see, I pray you, if the rest of your charms corresponds with those nature has so generously scattered over your features." And as this beautiful girl showed signs of being troubled, as she blushed without really understanding what was said to her, the brutal Antoinine seized her by the arm and shouted, with oaths and exclamations too indecent for repetition, "Don't you understand then, you finical little creature? Don't you understand that what you have been told to do is to strip yourself stark naked this very instant?" Fresh tears were followed by further resistance. But Clement, grabbing hold of her, tore away within a minute everything which had veiled the modesty of this interesting creature. Those charms of OCTAVIE, previously concealed by decency, were even more beautiful than those which custom allowed to be shown. Never has a whiter skin been seen, never such fortunate contours. But all this innocence, all this freshness and delicacy were quickly to become the prey of a group of barbarians. A circle was formed round her, and just as I had done, she was obliged to cover it in every sense. Antoinine, burning with lust, could not resist a cruel attack on such budding charms, but his worship was brief, and the incense smoked at the feet of the god. Raphael saw that it was time to think of more serious things. For his own part, he was incapable of waiting, so he seized the victim and placed her according to his taste. Not succeeding so well as he might, he begged Clement to hold her for him. OCTAVIE wept, but no one heard. Fire burned bright in the eyes of this abominable Italian. Master of the fortress he was about to storm, he considered his avenues of approach, only he better to anticipate every resistance. Neither ruse nor any other form of preparation was employed. The enormous disproportion between the assailant and the rebel in no way interfered with his conquest. A heart-rending cry from the victim announced her defeat, but nothing softened her proud conqueror. The more she appeared to beg for mercy, the more ferociously did he press upon her, and, like myself, the wretched girl was ignominiously soiled without ceasing to be a virgin. "Never were laurels more difficult to win," said Raphael, as he put himself to rights. "I thought, for the first time in my life, that I was about to fail." "Let me take her over from here," exclaimed Antoinine, without letting her get up. "There is more than a single breach in the rampant, and you've only taken one of them." As he spoke, he advanced proudly to combat, and within a minute was master of the situation. Fresh sobs could be heard. "Praise be to God," said this horrible monster. "I would have doubted my victory if I hadn't heard the cries of the vanquished. Moreover, I only esteem my triumph when it is drawn at the cost of tears." "To be truthful," said Jerome as he came forward, a bundle of twigs in his hand, neither shall I disturb this sweet posture, for it is perfectly suited to my designs. He looked, he touched, he felt. Then a frightful whistling noise echoed through the air. The beautiful flesh changed colour. The brilliant red of carnation mingled with the glow of lilies. Thus it is that something which in moderation might perhaps enliven a moment of love becomes, with incessant repetition, a crime against its laws. Nothing could stop the perfidious monk. The more the pupil wept, the greater each explosion of her master's severity. Every part was treated in the same manner, not a single portion of the flesh beneath him obtaining the slightest mercy. Soon this entire body was covered with the imprints of his barbarity, and it was upon these bleeding traces of his odious pleasures that this unspeakable man extinguished at last the fire which burnt within him. "I shall be more gentle than my brothers," exclaimed Clement, as he seized the beautiful creature in his arms and glued an impure kiss on her coral lips. "Here is the temple in which I shall sacrifice."